Can you hear me, Deanne?
I can hear you.
Oh, I'm trying to get my earbuds to work, but I can still hear you on my computer, not my earbuds.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's going on.
Mine is the same way, actually. I need to check my system preferences.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at too. How's it going?
It's going great. The kids are doing really good at summer school, and
Oh, that's
um,
awesome.
some of them are just super excited. We had some that were a little bored, but
Mhm.
they figured out that maybe the reason they were recommended for summer school was because they weren't performing as well as they should have in class.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I am glad it is going good.
and how was your visit with your mom?
Great. She's sitting in the living room right now. We have been super busy, lots of baby snuggling, but also I got her out kayaking last night and um, just doing lots of fun stuff. So
Good. Be here for a while?
she's here till next Tuesday, and she's been here. She got in a week ago Monday. And she leaves Tuesday morning, and my in laws come in Tuesday night.
And did she come by herself, or did you have
She came by herself.
oh,
She's a pro
nice.
traveling now.
Yeah. Okay, well, I let Vanessa know that the meeting is on, and
Are a bunch of them meeting at school or?
yeah, they are. And I gave Mindy the uniforms so that everybody could take a look and see what those look like.
Mhm. Well, good. Hopefully they'll be able to hold them up and you can see them.
The material looks really high quality.
Oh, good.
Hmm.
And it's still a part of French toast.
Hmm. Yep. They're they sent us, I think, 2 size 6s and 2 size 7s.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if they're all girl sizes or styles.
Mm. I wanted to ask you, well, maybe now's not the time. I was going to ask you about the candidates. Should we wait and talk about that later?
Yeah, we can talk about that. I've got an update for everybody on the TA and
Oh, okay.
the technology position. Hi, Mindy.
Hey, Deanne.
You got everybody with you?
I've got Paige and Vanessa so far. That's it. There, now you can see their beautiful faces. I got you both on the big screen.
Man, my hour of fame on TV.
Yes. Will you sign my autograph book, please? I couldn't get autographs of the Disney characters. They wouldn't let me get close enough.
I was gonna
No
ask.
Scooby-Doo autographs? Are you kidding me?
They had them in like little, they had them little ropes that you couldn't go. You could say hi or have your picture taken in front of the rope that separated you two, but yeah,
Mm.
you couldn't go up and hug them.
Mindy,
So Snow White never got to see my Snow White nails.
Ah.
She
Oh.
missed out. I feel bad for her.
Mindy, I have the YouTube live link
Uh-huh.
in the chat box if Paige or Vanessa wanted it, or you want to put that on Facebook. It's also live on the website.
Where do I go to get it? It's not in the chat box.
I just saw it in there.
Here, let me put it in there again. Maybe you weren't.
Oh, I see it now.
I thought Paige was out of town. I just saw pictures of her somewhere else.
I got back yesterday.
Ah.
I don't usually post my pictures until I get back.
That way people don't know you're gone. What do you usually put when you?
The link is live now for our work session or whatever.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh. I thought so too, not the work session. But then when you posted that it would be live, I was like, Vanessa, why do we have to be live for the work session? I guess, yeah, pretty much. Actually, I don't think she said the answer we had to. She just said something like, if we're talking about stuff that we're gonna make decisions.
We'll ask Vanessa.
I think you have to, even if they screen their work session, it's training that you don't have to, because usually in a work session, you're still like going over things that you're going to be voting on. So you don't want to hide the work that you're doing or the research that you're doing.
We all just originally talked about it. So we're happy to.
Okay. We are posted on Facebook.
I'm still in a panic. Do I have to put notes? Probably.
Stacy Monker got that with flowers in it, but then she gave me the thing because she goes, "Do you need this?" I'm like, "Yes."
Anything that personal.
I do.
Evaluation.
Yep.
Here's the, is Casey coming? No, she has military stuff. Oh, good. That's always fun. I forget what she said. Posting something to sound. No, the new isn't until July 1st. Yeah.
In case of the swap.
Yes.
Our new one. I didn't. She knows.
No. Need to do that. I haven't actually pulled. Oh, they sent them. But they don't. Thank you. All right. So for our work session, we're going to go through the APB self-evaluation. This was a template from somebody else because we've never actually done one before. So where it says committee, just in your mind, place it forward. Do we just want to go one by one for the items?
Missy, are you speaking? Because I can't hear you if you are. You're on
You're muted.
mute.
Do they have this? They have this.
Deanne, would you please allow me to share my screen, please?
So I will. Indeed. There you go.
Thanks.
I had asked, do we have a copy of that?
Oh, yes, I sent it before our May or April meeting.
Okay, I'll look for it.
Mindy's putting it on the screen.
May 11th.
Oh, no. I'm just-
Well, not like when we do the principal eval.
Oh,
we
yes.
have the numbers so that we have it all.
We can, yeah.
It's not as long.
All right. Are we all ready?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Item number 1 under APB meeting / operations and APB performance. Our APB refrains from misuse of the executive session provision as defined in the open meeting.
Very good.
2, we conduct our business only at a properly called meeting. Each of our regular meetings agendas has a purposeful focus on student learning and achievement demonstrated through student or staff presentations, student or staff recognition, and dialogue connected to students' learning and achievement.
Just laughing. So they can't learn if we don't have the properly insured schools, right? In a roundabout way.
In all roundabout ways, yeah, we don't talk about the parts.
I could be
Our APB members can honestly say we made decisions based on information provided and or requested and not on preconceived ideas. but for me,
I put B.
I think we get enough information. I think so.
Right, well, yeah,
We
the
obviously
information
had
always, the
information.
information is supported by the.
Mindy, can you move it up a little bit?
Oh, you sound like my students now.
And then number 5, we as an APB receive agenda material in the time frame established in our policy, allowing for adequate time to study information before the scheduled APB meeting.
Well, that's a
agree.
V, but sometimes I just don't make it.
Well,
To
I know
look
that
at
I
it.
don't put the minutes out necessarily a week in advance.
I would
Even
say
the
like
day.
an I or an S maybe in between.
Yeah.
We try.
We try,
try.
but we're not.
Okay, then I will go S, but I won't go
You
to an
won't go
I.
there? Okay.
We do
Are
our
we-
best in our busy lives.
Are we filling this out ourselves or are you filling it out for everybody, Mindy?
I'm just filling or should be filling the same thing unless you want to fill it yourself. We'll just
I'll
have,
put
like,
you,
one main.
I'll put you on it with me, Missy.
Okay.
Oh, you wanted to list the bullets out.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
No, we'll just have one main
That's
copy. If
what I
you
thought.
want to take.
I was
notes
just gonna
yourself,
keep
you
a
can,
blank
yeah.
one for like, if we change it.
I'll probably keep one for the notes.
Next section. Oh, yes, do we want to do any comments? Or are we good?
I don't have any
Maybe put
specific.
anything about why we are doing this for that, or are we happy with the?
I would say, yeah.
And that's
Supporting material. Minutes could be more timely.
well, and it's not just. me, so,
No, I said supporting material.
oh, sorry.
Let's see, next section, APB and principal. 1, our team has a specific and purposeful process for defining our principal's performance expectations and corresponding evaluation, including reflection of our charter goals and the principal's responsibility and role in administering and leading our school towards those goals. That's a lot of work. I think we do. Yeah, I think it's specific and purposeful. What do you think, Ian?
I think that there's a process.
I go B.
All right.
Do you feel like it's clear, Deanne?
The rubric is very clear and straightforward. What we look at as far as what specific things in there, I look at things I think a little bit differently than the APB does, and then the staff. But that's always going to be a difference in our perception of how the job duties need to be carried out or priorities. But I think that it's a really good start in working with expectations.
Let's go S plus,
S plus.
almost a V.
Okay.
So what can we do to improve that though?
I'm thinking something, correct me if I'm wrong, but Casey has mentioned before what we get feedback from the staff on doesn't exactly line up with some of the areas. So I'm thinking if we could make an area in there that matched what the questions that we get put into. Yes?
I think what I would like to see is, we established a set of goals when we set out the like our 3-year cycle for what the board wanted to accomplish, and then that doesn't reflect anywhere in the process of the evaluation. Like, are we working toward our strategic plan and things like that? That's not in the evaluation tool. So that's where the only thing I would see here when it says what our charter goals are and responsibilities, because I think that's going to be really important in the next couple of years as we work toward building our 7th and 8th grade program, and then also with the Spalding certification.
Okay. Are we good on that one? Number 2, the APB sets aside time at least semi-annually to discuss APB/principal relations. If we're calling that the eval, then I would say yes.
Well, I think it's the eval. At
Okay.
least that's what I feel it is.
I don't think there's a section in there about me, so like, I think
Yeah.
grievance, but
Oh, there's a backside?
At
Oh,
least it's not 9 pages.
Number 3, our APB maintains ongoing open lines of communication and observes the chain of command. This is just
Principal
it's in
specifically,
the
the
APB.
oh my
principal
gosh,
section.
y'all. I'm still.
I know, because I'm
on this
like, well,
time
how
zone.
can we get parents to?
We're not allowed.
Okay,
And I
thank
haven't
you.
been
Yeah.
time zone,
Because
so.
I'm like, I did get some sleep last night, but
I think so. Yeah. Yep. I talk to Deanne all the time.
Number 4, we conduct a comprehensive and fair annual evaluation of the principal in accordance with our bylaws. Was that different? Well, I mean, if that's how we have our semi-annual discussions, then I would say it counts as both.
is it fair and comprehensive enough for you, Deanne? To think we deserve a B?
She's saying yes.
Okay.
Number 5, the APB and principal agree on information needed by the APB and when and how the APB receives that information.
Do you feel like you get enough information or the information needed to make decisions?
Yeah, yeah.
So B. He's doing this in person anymore.
Number 6, our APB understands the distinction between the APB's role and the function of the administration. We, as the APB, are the navigator, giving direction to the principal who steers the ship.
Aye, Captain. I think that's a B.
I think we all know that principal is our only employee. We don't manage the rest of the staff.
Deanne, how do you feel about that one? Do you feel that we are the navigator and you steer?
Yeah, I think that this APB board does a really good job at focusing at policy and direction, and tries really hard not to get into the weeds of operations. So I think you guys do really well. That should be a V.
Any extra comments in that section? No? Just whatever we put on that first. Yeah. Oh, yeah. the adding that. All right, next section is APB and staff. One, our APB provides for public recognition of staff achievements. Well, I didn't know we were allowed.
Probably
do
need to put an
that, so-
eye on that one. Yeah, I didn't know that we
What
could do that
does mean?
too.
Provides for public, meaning we pay for public recognition.
Or maybe we put like a letter saying, we congratulate this teacher with this recognition, although I don't know what those recognitions be outside of.
Well,
Or it could just, you could just, yeah, if somebody got a BP nomination, or the Eagle River Tugiak Chamber of Commerce teacher yearly recognition, or maybe they got their 10-year pin or their 20-year pin, hint, hint, that's coming up. That maybe something was said on, you know, maybe even if it's just Facebook. Congratulations to
Have any of those things happen in the last year?
Molly, got the Eagle River Tugiak Chamber Teacher of the Year.
Susan?
Hmm. There were quite a few that got pins. Deanne would have all that information.
Well, then I would say it could go both ways. Did we know to provide them recognition, but we don't impede anyone announcing recognition, I guess.
Well, that's true.
We're not like, no, you cannot have a newspaper article.
Right. It just, we didn't know that we could probably do that.
Yeah.
Get on that from now on, Paige. Aren't you the communication person?
Well, I guess.
Public
But
relations?
if I didn't know,
Wait,
I was
they
supposed
swapped,
to.
they swapped seats. Not yet, though.
Oh,
Oh, you're right.
so Cheryl needs to get on that.
Starting July 1st.
Okay.
That's all you.
Do
Well,
you
does that
have
mean I
any-
gotta give her the Facebook thing then too, or can I just keep it?
Keep it. If you want it,
I mean,
keep
I
it.
don't really need it.
I don't think
but
anyone's gonna fight.
You want
No,
it.
you
let me
also-
know.
You both could do it. Sometimes it's nice to have a backup.
Did you have any feedback on that, Deanne?
It might be nice. I kind of see it as a couple of things. We might be able to put a placeholder on our agenda for maybe staff and student recognition, sort of like what the ASD school board does with the Denali Award, or at the beginning of board meetings where they bring up different groups for things that are going on in the district. So we could maybe build some time into the agenda for that. If there's some, and it'll just be a good reminder for us to look for some of those things that are happening, and then share that publicly.
Because how do you give the teachers, I mean, do you do anything like in a staff meeting or something when you give them their pins or their whatever nominations or awards, or do they just get sent to them from the district?
Yeah, so at the end of the year this year, we did our our Eagle River Chugiak teachers recognitions for last school year and this school year. And then also our service pins that came in from the superintendent.
So that was in a community-wide recognition, not just for our school, then, right?
Well, I mean, we did that just in the staff meeting so that everybody who were part of the staff could actually see that, but we could mention that in the board meetings. Or we could make it something where we give that out at our board meetings if we were doing them in person. But that would just require people to show up at the board meetings.
True. But if they didn't want to come, we could just do what Mindy was saying. Just post something.
Aye, so are we saying aye on that one? Yes. All right, number 2, our APB recognizes the importance of staff development and provides the necessary time and funds.
V, let's not even move to the next one.
Number 3, yes, we're all good with B. Yeah, okay. Our APB ensures that our actions and decisions are quickly and effectively communicated to the staff.
That was a question that I had at one
Yeah.
point that was told that whatever
It
we
wouldn't-
say,
it
we
isn't
don't,
our,
we
right.
don't have to tell them that,
Yeah.
that's Leanne's, I guess, or whoever the
Or
teacher
they-
rep's job is.
Or they read the minutes.
But those don't come out because we don't vote on them until the next meeting.
That's
That's
true.
a whole month later, and then assuming that they get signed and posted, which has been super awesome. That would be it. But because it is a whole month beyond the meeting, some of those things are like, this is next week and it needs to happen, but they wouldn't read the notes.
That's true.
I mean, if that's something that we're allowed to do or able to do, I mean, that would be nice, but
I think it could even be like at our meeting, hey, will you make sure, and whoever is making that assignment, will you make sure to take this to the staff so they know about it? Whether that's the, hey, Mindy, will you make sure to do that? Or hey, Deanne, will you make sure to do that? Just making sure that we as the board have made that assignment, that you are to inform the staff, however that.
Do you have any feedback on that? Either one?
I feel like we started out doing that really well. But, you know, as meetings were a little bit crazy this year with being Zoom, and we probably didn't do it as well as we could have. But I know that we have talked about that. And well, from what I could hear, I guess I should tell you what I'm talking about. Like at a staff meeting, having a little portion where Mindy and I, or we did it with Stacy and I too, when Stacy was on the board, where we could, you know, just give an update on our APB meeting and the things that were going on.
So an S then? Because we're doing some things, but we could get better.
at it. Did you have any feedback on that, Dean?
Yeah, we can build something into our every other Thursday staff meetings for that. And then also, I mean, Mindy and Missy as the teacher reps can easily, I mean, I think people get the information fairly quickly. It may be the TAs that it doesn't trickle down to as fast as it does for the teachers. Or I can even put it in the know.
Is that the staff newsletter?
Mhm.
It is the staff newsletter.
Okay, good on that section? Next section is budget. Our APB has a good understanding of the basic elements of the district budget and our school budget.
Just basic.
Yes.
Well, I think so. And Deanne's got a good way of
Yep.
setting it up to make it easy to read.
It's basic on looking.
And number two, our APB has a well-defined and clearly expressed process for developing, reviewing, and adopting the school budget.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have what we do have in our accounts.
Any other comments on that section?
Keep up the great work.
Planning, goals, and strategic planning. Number one, our vision statement is widely disseminated in the district and to our students, parents, staff, and administration. And I guess that would be to our school here. They may be satisfactory since we just made it last school year. And we put it out a little bit, but not,
I guess we think that a goal to work on. Yes.
You know, it is on the front page or the very top of every single newsletter that goes out. It's on our memos and documents that get sent out. So while it's on there, it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody is familiar with it or pays attention to it. So, you know, if we walked around the building or we asked parents if they knew what our school mission and vision was, I think that they may struggle to say what it is.
True, but I
So would some
challenge
teachers.
anyone, I mean, in any building of any sort,
To
not
say
just a
what
school,
someone's vision
to say
was.
what someone's vision is, and doesn't know what it is.
Well, and I think it would have been a little easier perhaps had we been able to have some assemblies, you know, our
Yeah.
awards assemblies, that could have been a forum for, hey, this is what we're working on, you know. And so the students would have heard it a couple of times, but the circumstances did not allow that this year. And the last year. So
S, is that what we're? Two, the principal's evaluation considers how well the principal has addressed the school's goals, which I think we just talked about.
But that was the thing that we needed to add to her thing, so.
Yes. So would that be an I we need to add? Or an S?
I don't know, because
it
I'm
is
not on the
agenda
evaluation committee, so I don't know what.
Is it an I?
I would say I. Since it's not there at all.
I-
And then number three, our APB emphasizes setting and monitoring goals instead of how staff should achieve those goals.
We don't do it.
Right.
We don't play with
Only Deanne does.
Do you think so? Oh, she could. Okay, general other APB, like, wow. General other APB development slash
Title
team,
this section.
whatever there, okay, I guess we'll find out when you do the questions. Okay, number 1, our APB takes advantage of training opportunities such as conferences and workshops relevant to APB responsibilities.
Yes.
Yes. Number 2, differences and disagreements between members of the APB are worked through rather than being neglected and allowed to continue.
Disagreement that was a problem, but I'd say yes.
I would too.
Number 3, each member of the APB feels responsible for attaining the goals of the APB. APB self-improvement plan. Again, so again.
We
We
all
haven't
feel like
made
we
one
have to make
before.
it better, so
Yes.
yes, I think we're
Yeah.
all pretty responsible.
And number 4, our APB significantly affects what happens in our school.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that wasn't sectional news. All right, number 5. Our APB considers the principal's recommendation in every decision.
Mhm.
We asked for it. That's the decision.
We
Really want to know.
We consider it, yes.
Deanne, what do you think? Do you think we ask you for your recommendation a lot?
Yes.
Number 6, our APB is open and honest with each other as well as administrators and is able to maintain an attitude of mutual trust and respect.
Yep.
Number 7, the APB conducts a comprehensive orientation to familiarize new APB members with their role on the team.
Okay, that comprehensive, just like, so I'd probably say an S.
I tried this year.
No, but yeah,
yeah.
but you know,
No, but
generally.
before there was nothing. It was like, hey, come to the meeting next month.
Right.
Number 8, APB members keep the importance of student achievement as their primary focus. And then policies and bylaws. Number 1, the APB ensures the policy manual is up to date and comprehensive.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Number 2, our APB uses APB policy as a foundation for decision making.
Yes.
Number 3, our APB provides for regular periodic policy review and revision as appropriate.
I'd say yes.
And number 4, the APB ensures that policies are current with mandates by governmental agencies, the courts, and district policies. As far as- yes.
Sure. I know.
Yeah, courts.
All right.
Score.
Done with that.
I think the average would be
I don't know. B plus.
Okay. All right, and then the next item for the work session is the uniform replacement item review. So that would just be us touching, feeling, looking the uniform options over here.
Let me tell you what I don't like. I've already looked.
Okay.
So.
Can
I'm
you-
guessing
Can you hold them up so I can see them
that looks-
and for the world to see?
So this is a 6, so a kindy for sure.
And it has,
It has the skirt in it.
It
Is
has
this
the
is replacing
shorts.
the scooter? Is that correct?
That is an option. So there's 3 options
Okay.
and 2 are new and they don't have them to
Okay.
send yet.
What I don't like about this is that the scooter skirt that we have before is very like stretchy. It has elastic in the back. This is like the pants that have the
Or like
little
skirts
the
that
little
are
thing right here. And so
To make
for
it
skinny
smaller.
people, this is fantastic
Yeah.
because you can tighten it and all that jazz. But for the girls that need a little extra stretch, but you don't want to buy them like a size 20.
Right.
Yes, I know my child is one of them. So I like that stretch. I love that it has the shorts in the bottom because that is what the only skirt I buy is the ones with shorts in the bottom. But I will not get this one because it will not work for her waist.
I think this is
I think
cute.
it's cute. I like the
Really
design.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but it's a 6. Like, think about a kindergartner, right? I mean, they're like,
So you see that, like,
That's like
my
what
kid
her
just
daughter
went
was-
into a 7 and she's going into 4th grade.
Does she have?
well, and see,
She's
that's true.
really-
You know, yeah.
She's really tiny
Does
though.
she have the scooter?
This would be short for
And are they
Elsie
that
for
short?
sure.
I feel like
Huh?
I feel like the scooters just aren't that. Ones that you have on.
No, they're not. Like
Yeah.
Emma Grace's comes
Yeah.
down to her knees.
Do scooters have shorts under them?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this material feels like the pants. It does not feel like what the old
Yeah.
scooter feels like.
I think out of the 3 options that there's only one. And I'm very confused as to why they're even getting rid of the one and replacing it with this one because
'Cause it
I
looks
think they're
almost the
exactly
same. Yeah.
But then they made it like a sweatpants waistband. And I'm like, why did you take it from dressy
To not
like
dressy?
sweatpants?
So anyway, I'm not a major fan of this one, but I'm also not, if somebody else
Yeah.
has a love for it. I mean, I do love the way that it looks. It's super cute, but functionality wise, I will not buy this. So
Well,
for
So the-
my child,
The one that looks, you said just like the one that we have now, is it stretchy? Is it the waistband stretchy on that one?
yeah, I think it will be stretchy, but it looks more like if
maybe like
you-
a yoga
if you
band
were
or something
buying, it looks
instead
more
of.
like if you were buying like a terry cloth skirt and it's like navy white stripe with a tie is the waistband. So I think it'll be stretchy, but if we went with that option, might be something that we consider saying you can't tuck your shirt in with this for the girls.
Is it still made out of this material?
No, I think it's the same material of the scooters we have. which
Oh,
is
okay, but
all
it's
over-
just the band
Yeah,
is,
they just changed the waistband, which is why. I don't
Is
know
the
why.
band, I mean, is the band that noticeable? Is it,
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty.
I don't remember
big.
seeing that on the examples that you sent us before. Like that it had different
That it had a
color
different
waistbands.
different color waistband. I don't remember it either, but I don't know. Maybe I didn't pay attention enough to it.
But their website is not always super descriptive
Yeah, that's true too.
on what the inside waistband is or
yeah.
what the material is like, which is why we wanted to see them in
Yeah.
person. So do you?
Well, we don't have to decide tonight. She's still
No.
gonna ship us those samples.
she
Okay,
because
I was-
those are just 2 new items for them and they're not ready for them to send yet. She did tell me that, I think at the end of last week, that she is still going to ship them to us. They're just not ready to ship yet.
Totally random. Like, did we pay for these
No.
or are we shipping them back?
She didn't ask for them back. I asked for samples and she said, sure.
Sweet. Okay.
oh,
No, I
because
was
there
just
was an
curious.
invoice in there and
Oh,
I
is there?
wasn't, well, there was, but
Oh, well, maybe.
I just
maybe
thought-
She wants them back then.
I
ask her.
just thought maybe you had paid it with
No.
some of our COVID funds. So
Okay.
I didn't know.
I
All
took
right.
the samples and she said, okay.
So it must be
Oh, it
that
says prepaid. Okay.
since they're samples that,
She just has to send an
Yeah.
invoice so we know.
Yeah.
All right, so this one is what is replacing those horrendous
the
looking
V-neck
jumper
jumpers.
thingies. I hate those things. They're ugly. Anyway, the ones that have like almost like the straps right
Yeah.
here and
And
they
pleats
come
are-
down to the waistband with like a V and you have to wear that shirt underneath it and they have all the pleats going around it like that. So this one is more of a fitted look. It has a zipper in the back to get into it.
good job, Vanna.
I know, right? I think it's so cute that there's like a little pocket on the side.
Yeah,
You can
pockets.
stick your
Yes.
little hand in it. I mean, my hand's too big for this size 6 dress thingy, but it's
Pockets
got
are
a
a
little
plus.
pleat. There is no built-in shorts.
it looks like
Which
it's a good
they-
length though.
What's that?
It looks like it's a good length.
good
It
length.
does look like it's a good length because this is also a
Is that
size
too?
6. Yeah.
Pull
So-
that scooter up to the skirt part of that jumper.
If somebody had a longer torso though, it will throw off.
Yeah, that is.
Well, it's about the same.
Yeah.
If you go with the blue is maybe an inch
Yeah, the blue might be a little a bit of an inch longer.
But look at the front of that scooter. I mean, it's almost what, a half an inch to an inch shorter than the back of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that jumper is gonna be the same issue as this one for when you get to those bigger girls that are developing hips and.
Yes,
Yes.
because there is
Yeah.
no give
There's
in this
no
either. You cannot.
It does not allow
there-
for
there
curves.
is no
isn't
stretch.
really a give in the V-neck one. Like,
But
I
there's
have to-
not, yeah.
I have to buy
But the
Riley.
skirt's flared.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
pleats all the way
True,
around. That
true.
allows- Yeah.
This has a little bit of a pleat, so I guess technically you could maybe try to wear this maybe A-line-ish. As I hold it up to myself, like I'm gonna look like I should wear a size 6 in little kids. But I mean, I guess you could, but then it might affect the length of it. Like
Yeah.
I would be curious.
They didn't have,
Okay, that was weird.
they didn't have a
Um,
good, I think they had another jumper option, but I don't think the sizing went up high enough. Like, I think it stopped at size 12 or 14.
Mhm.
So it wouldn't go.
So
high
this
enough,
one
and
goes
that
higher?
one did go all the way up. Like, I think you could even get that one in women's sizes if I'm remembering.
'Cause
I could just buy me those and be done with my wardrobe.
Because I wonder if they would send us, or if we just have to buy one. And if we just
Yeah.
have to buy one, I'll do it. But like, buy
bigger
one
size.
that like either
Yeah.
your child or my child could try on
And
and
model.
model for us. They would hate it, but
They would.
But
Well, maybe not
that
if they have
would-
to wear it.
but that would show what it would look like on the demographic we're looking for. Because we know this will be cute on a
Right.
kindergartner, no problem. You know, it'll fit them. It'll be long enough. But
Do you
once they
feel like-
start getting-
Do you feel like 5th and 6th graders wear those?
I was gonna ask, how many 5th and 6th graders are currently wearing? the
Well, I will
jumpers
tell
and
you,
stuff?
my daughter does not wear the jumpers at all.
I feel like-
because of the flare, and it's just not.
I feel like most of the older kids wear pants. A couple of the girls wear skirts I've seen, but
Emma Grace likes the
Yeah.
skirts. Like the skirts are her favorite. She's worn the pants because we had a couple pairs that we needed because I ran out she all of a sudden hit a spurt and her skirts got too small. Some of them were too small or too short, because she got taller. But anyway. But she won't wear the jumpers. I don't know if she'll wear this. I'd have to ask her because we're at that point
Yeah.
where we have to ask
Mo-
kids if they'll
most
wear
of-
something.
Yeah, most of the 6th graders will wear the skirt with leggings underneath it. If they're gonna wear a dress, that's what they'll wear.
Joyce prefers the dress and the skirt, but that's going into 5th grade. She doesn't like the pants. They do not fit her comfortably at all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't get into pants until this past year. And I
Mm-hmm.
have to buy her like the half size. So it's
Mhm.
more than a half
Mhm.
finally fit her this year. Otherwise, they were always too long and
Mhm.
too little in the waist.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's always been our problem with the pants.
That's my problem too.
I found some in the bucket that had already been
Yeah.
hemmed. They were 16 and a half, but they fit her here, but
Yeah.
not, I assume they wouldn't have fit her lengthwise, but somebody had already hemmed them probably with the same issue I have. So anyway, but I like this one. I don't know what you guys, but the pockets are super cute. And I'm gonna tell you right now that there's gonna be some little girl that's gonna find a rock outside and bring it in, just so you know.
Or
'Cause
like, what are
that
the
was the
fourth
thing
graders
this year. It was
have?
like, oh, look at this rock. It's so pretty. I'm gonna take it inside.
Every time I wash a jacket, why does this thing weigh so much?
Oh, it's the
I found
rocks.
this rock at
Yeah.
recess. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Leave the
But-
rocks there and enjoy them.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm about to
We should
flush.
try to get that
In a bigger size.
in a bigger size.
Yeah, and just see.
Maybe I'll ask her
I think it's cute.
if we send that one back or something, if she could
Swap it for
swap it for a
something
bigger
bigger.
one when she sends those other skirts.
Are these the same, I think? Right?
One's a 6 and one's a 7, but I don't know what the difference is between them.
There's that band on the back. And it built by that last
I
band.
didn't
Oh.
think, do they both say straight?
They both
Yeah.
say straight.
Yeah, one
Maybe
has-
they.
One says adjustable waist and one says wrinkle no more. One says straight leg pant, the other says straight leg pull on pant.
Oh, yeah, that's the difference. So one has. the
Oh, I
elastic
just
in the
noticed
back.
it.
I was like trying to remember what it is.
There's no
There's no
zipper.
zipper.
Just pull
There
them
is a
on.
button and there is nothing there to zip.
They're mama
So,
pants
Are these for
without the
girls
elastic.
or are these for
No, they're
everybody?
Probably for boys
No,
and
they're
girls.
both- They're both girls. The girls.
Oh, they're
No,
girls?
the girls' pants are the ones.
That are going away.
away.
Okay,
That's
so we don't
not
have to
right
think
now.
about boys in this one. Okay,
The boys' pants
so
are
this
the
one
button.
has the elastic in the back, so if it needs extra room or whatnot, it's
These
like
ones
that.
I see.
And I kind of like that for like the girls that are getting the hips because,
But I kind of don't because sometimes you can't get, you know,
It's
you can't
not
unbutton
well, that's
them, you
true.
can't-
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Again, I think.
But
would
again,
a
we
bigger
need to
size.
try the
Yeah.
size to
Yeah.
see how much of a pain that would be. But
I like
they,
the
they look
pockets.
the same. What's that?
I like the pockets.
Yeah, they're kind of,
Are they fake or real?
the ones on the back are fake.
I like that.
Okay. And the ones here are just your normal.
But I can do the same thing with these.
I like the look of them because they have that little like thing and these other ones are different. All right, so then this one looks almost just like the pant we had already. So I don't know what the difference
The
is.
difference is our pants right now are flared pants.
Oh,
And
and
they're
these are straight legs?
discontinuing. These are just
Oh,
straight
okay.
legs.
So these are just straight leg pants. And they have, looks like the same pocket on the front,
Yeah, I
but
think
the
only
straight
difference
pocket
is
on the
the-
back. And then they have the little thing like that that you hook
Do
and
they
then
have
the
the button
zipper.
tabs too for tightening?
Yep, button tabs are there for making,
And if
them
there is
smaller.
no look difference really, we could put them both in as an option and people can buy
whichever one they
yeah.
feel.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't really, other than just the pocket difference in the back
That is my
pocket.
problem with the tab.
What's that?
The short, the like the waist, the like crotch to
crotch
where
of the
you button
waist.
that is so short.
Yeah.
It looks like they're low rise.
Those ones might be the pull-ons. But I can do the same thing with these and
Do
see.
you want me to run, is the gym unlocked? I can run, go see if there's something in, see if there's a pair of sevens of older ones. Do you want me to do that or are you good?
I think it's gonna be the same thing that for the little kids,
Yeah,
they
it won't matter.
they work better. It's the older kids that we wanna know whether they're gonna work.
But I could do the same thing and ask you, like, if we send her those back, could she
Yeah.
send us a big size?
Right.
And have
Almost
And
like a
our
half,
right
like a
yeah.
14 and a half or 16 and a half or 12.
Do
and a
you
half.
do you guys think that the stretchy waistband would be better for the bigger kids who need that stretchier?
I don't know if it will work. It depends on how much stretch it will have.
Yeah.
And whether it would have more stretch than the button or not.
Yeah,
It looks
Alright,
like it's almost
so
the
If
same.
if
But
this
which
one's
one is-
attached,
What size is this?
they're both sevens.
Oh, they're both sevens.
So if
Yeah,
I
but
pull,
it might be the same, but it's gonna stretch more if it's got that elastic waistband.
but only the back is elastic, so then the
Oops,
issue
sorry,
would be
hold
if
that
the
up.
front doesn't stretch.
So it gives a
it
good
gives you an
inch.
extra inch
Yeah.
or so.
I think
2
that's a good option
inches.
though.
On the button pants, we just. unhook
And
the
these
button.
ones that they just pull up,
But when it's on your body,
you-
like this one won't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
But if you need an extra inch or so, when
That'll
you
be
have
fine.
them on,
Go ahead, put 'em
that
on
one
the
stretch.
page.
Yeah, let me see if it'll go on my leg. Yeah, no, not even.
these come in khaki and blue?
Yeah.
Okay, they both do.
Yeah,
She just
yeah,
gave us,
And
okay,
these all come in they come in our plaid and the
Okay.
khaki and the
she
navy.
just gave us
Yes,
a
she
solid
does
color.
that.
Okay,
May you see anything else?
Bigger sizes.
Okay, and I'll ask her that before she sends those other scooters too. Can you please send us big sizes? Would you throw those
I
baggies away?
am serious, yeah.
Just in case she wants them back, I probably should put them back in there just in case.
Well, I just kind of ripped them open, so good luck.
Can rebag them if they need to. And we have 6 minutes,
Okay.
5 minutes before our.
Good, I gotta go to the
meeting.
bathroom.
I know, I was trying to think that myself. Can we stay on this, the end, or do we?
Yes. Okay.
I made the link the same for both meetings, so we're good.
So I bought some Chick-fil-A sauce while I was gone, you guys. I should be set. Of course, then I found out that Fred Meyer's carrying it. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I got all excited and I bought
I
like
went all the
4
way out of state
packages of
for this.
sauces while I was gone, just so I could have enough. And then come back and, oh, now Fred Meyer's carrying it. Well, that's just fine.
What about the one that you talked about at Walmart? I'm so sad.
Yeah.
Finally got it in. And then the next day, I'm like, oh, look what I found.
Well, but see, now you can taste
I know,
compare
that's what I
and
thought.
see if there's a
We gotta
difference,
try
because
it.
I'm gonna do that now, because I have both of them too. And see just how much of a difference there is.
Did Sean call you, Deanne? He emailed me back and said he called and left a message. He didn't call me.
Oh, he might have called the school.
Oh, his answer wasn't very clear, but I guess we'll go with it.
Oh, did he email back?
He emailed. You haven't watched it yet?
No, I'm saying, well, I was talking to them while you were talking. I'm saying, if anybody hasn't watched Sprinting Movie,
I
you
just watched
should.
My sister signed up for a free trial for the HBO Max, so she's like, watch it right now.
Yeah.
Hurry up so I can cancel.
Right?
He said, yes, he could go with the 1 year if he can get a meeting with the board. That's why it's not, you need a meeting with the board, like I said in the fall. Or do you need a meeting with the board next, like when you asked me? So I don't know what he might have said in his voicemail message to somebody.
Oh, and he didn't leave it on my extension. Normally my extension will forward it,
All
the
like,
voicemail to my email. So he might have left it on Diana's, and we'll get it in the morning.
well, we'll just go with the assumption that he said, yes, I can do that. If it will just go with the yes. Me? No.
Didn't officially ever start.
It was on the thing, so that's fine.
Oh, I just copied.
Okay, we did that.
Smells good.
I did not expect to be lotioned out. So.
Oh, well, the soap in there dries your hands so bad. And I always have lotion here. Sweet peppermint and sugar plum.
Okay. All right. So for our special meeting, let's go ahead and call to order at, oh wait, Missy's not Oh, me too. Not to brag. Forget what I'm doing while I'm doing. I literally do that. I'll be like, oh, I should Google, and then I open the internet and I'm like, huh, what was I doing here? Or I'll like, what did I do the other day? I was gonna start with towels. And then I was like, oh, I need to check the rest of the house for towels. So I went hunting for towels and got sidetracked with like 2 other things. And like 3 hours later, I was like, I didn't start the washer. Oops.
My favorite is I check my phone to see what time it is. And then I don't check what time it is. I
Me
can
too.
check it like sometimes like 3 times.
And then I still don't know what time it is. Yes, I'll be like, I'll like click it and be like, oh, it's no one texted me. And then I'll be like, wait, what time is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead and call to order the special meeting at 5:02. And does anyone have anything they want to revise or prioritize on the agenda? Okay. I think I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Okay, then hearing no changes to the agenda, the agenda is approved as written.
So when I do the minutes, I have to write that.
Yes. Or something like that. And then off to public input. Did anyone get anything for public input? Not. Let me just check. Okay, I did not either. So no public input. And then for old business, the lease renewal. So in like February and March or January and March, he already said okay to a 1-year extension and then a longer one once we figure out expansion. And then once I sent him this amendment to review, he was like, well, I'd really like a longer lease with a bigger increase. And then he kind of sent some numbers to Deanne and I that are like total ballpark estimates. They're not based on anything besides like what his construction guy said it might cost a square foot based on the square footage of taking over 2 spaces, which may or may not be an accurate cost. So we didn't really want to go that route without, actual plans, actual costs. And then he it didn't sound like what we voted on last time was the 1-year extension at our normal 1% increase. And then for the landlord to do and pay for the lobby flooring, was it for us to pay for him to facilitate and us to pay for the paint? I think painting in the walls and the hallways. And he was still like pushing back on, well, if I'm gonna have to do that, then I'd like a longer lease. So what I sent to him today was, okay, this is why we want to do a 1-year lease. We would be coming back to you in September to talk about an extension lease if that's what we get approved, but we don't want to do any of that without the State Board of Education approval. So can we just do the 1-year lease? And I did look up one of our amendments, like amendment 4 says, we take care of all the flooring in the hall and the painting. So I said, and if we pay for this, then can we just do it? So that's what he just emailed back, and it's still vague in his answer. He says, yes, he will do a 1-year if he can get a meeting with the board. So
Us as a board?
So, I mean, I already
Oh.
said, yes, we would meet with him, but when we're at the planning stage, which wouldn't be until the fall. So I don't know if he's saying, yep, that's fine, or if he wants a meeting like in 2 weeks. But we would need to vote on, if he's agreeing to this, then we would need to vote on the new modification of us also paying for the entryway flooring.
Do you remember what that was?
I want to say it was under 30. Do you remember, Deanne, what the flooring cost was?
Yes, and I'm emailing Sean right, or texting him right now, and he actually wants to meet with the board before June 30th.
Can he call in on the Zoom right now? Can you do that right now?
Yes, he can. If you give me 1 second, I can let him know that if he wants to talk with us right now. I'm not sure what his holdup is, if he's not interested in us even being there next year. But if he's not gonna sign an agreement for next year, then we need to find a school building right away. Do you want him to call you, Vanessa, or do you want him to call me?
I think you're closer to the speaker. If he called you, would probably be better.
Okay,
Got Zoom, just you just wanna hook up on Zoom.
hi, Sean.
Hi, Jen.
So,
She's probably doing that, so
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I've got Sean here on the phone. And so he has some questions, or he's hoping to find out from the board what direction you folks want to move into. So Sean,
Hi, who do we have?
Mindy Edison, the sixth grade teacher.
I'm Paige Saylor, the vice chair. I'm Vanessa Hall, the chair.
Jennifer Bundy, a member and the secretary. Cheryl Rail, board member.
Missy Timberlake, second grade teacher and board member.
Yeah, I was just hoping to meet with you guys. I haven't met with the board for a long time. You know, we used to work together on a lot of stuff. I know some of you for sure, but it's changed some. And I just want to make sure what direction everybody's wanting to go. You know, the short-term leases just are really tough for me. I just had to extend my financing with the bank, you know, and they're requiring all the financial, make sure that, you know, and we're, you know, we're running this thing at a low margin. I mean, we're in the single-digit profit margins, you know, it's really low, and the bank always has to know what's going on. And, you know, I just extended it for another 5 years. And so I want to try to know what's going on with you guys, you know, what your plans are and why you don't want to do a longer lease. I know, you know, if you do need to do something different, I'd like to know. I mean, you know, the main concern, I mean, if you guys would want to negotiate something with somebody else, if you need a different space, that's fine. I just like to know that's what you're doing so I can do the same and look for another tenant. You know, we've got this lease down to, you know, where it's not paying for our original improvements that we did to put this thing in there. And we're just, you know, we've always worked together good. I like to see this thing prosper. I think you guys are doing a great job as far as teaching the kids and all that kind of stuff. And that's, you know, that was my goal from the start. But in the last, you know, several years, it's got slimmer and slimmer and slimmer for me. And you guys requesting more and more without a commitment. And I just feel like I need to be involved in what's going on there if I'm going to try to support it like I am. So I was hoping to, you know, get a face-to-face with everybody. I mean, I don't mind doing another 1-year extension, but I really want to know what's going on, why we can't get more commitment or more direction. I mean, we're willing to do expansions and all that kind of stuff, but it costs me a lot of money, which, you know, I'm not making on a place already. So that's, you know, that's the basics. And I would like some honest feedback from everybody involved there, you know, where you guys are going or what your intentions are. And I mean, we can do a longer, you know, I keep getting that, well, we can't do a longer term lease. What if we expand? But if we expand, it changes the lease anyway. It's, you know, that's not a reason, I don't believe. I mean, we always do amendments to leases. We always just change them if you do expand. If you don't plan on staying there, then that would be a reason. That's the only reason I can see for not doing a longer term lease. But what's all your guys' feedback?
Come closer to the computer, I guess, and you can hear me. So I'll start, I guess. So I know I have been working on a committee along with Mindy and Vanessa and some other parents and Deanne, of course, for our 7th and 8th grade expansion. And we are approved through the school board. We're just awaiting approval from the state. And once we've gotten that approval, then we know that we can ask you for more space here. And so I guess just thinking that it would be easier for us to just do the 1 year for now. And then in September, once we hear from the state, we can go ahead and work on, you know, a 5-year or whatever it is that works for you, 3-year, 5-year, whatnot, to move into more space and do that sort of thing. We have no intention at this point of going anywhere else unless you don't want us here, but I don't think that that is the case from what you're saying. We like being here and we succeed very well here. And once we know that the state is good with our expansion, then we'll be ready to sign something much longer, if that makes sense. Anybody else? I guess that's good for me.
So this is Vanessa, you and I have been emailing back and forth, and Deanne can probably correct me if I'm wrong on this, but we were going for a 1 year, like Paige said, for the ease of working on the expansion. And we fully expect that the school district is going to get involved with the numbers and the cost on that, and that it's not going to be an easy extension or amendment, and they're probably going to want a mostly new lease written, which was why it seemed silly to us to do a 3-year extension when we're probably going to have to do a lot of work with the expansion and how that's going to play into it. But Deanne can throw her 2 cents in for that.
Well, I'm sorry, you're totally breaking up there. I don't know if it's my end or
All right.
couldn't really hear anything there.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yeah.
So Deanne can correct me if I'm wrong, but we wanted to do the 1 year for the ease of dealing with new prices and square footage and everything, because we fully expect that the district is going to be sticking their nose heavily into this expansion. And we just thought it seemed silly to do a 3-year when we are 90% sure that this is going to happen and that they're going to be, you know, fine tooth combing everything. So we don't think it'll just be an easy, like, here's our 2 bullet point amendment, which is why we just wanted to do the 1 year for what we have and then like new for the whole thing. But Deanne can speak to that as well.
Okay. Yeah, still breaking up there, but I hear you keep again 1 year for ease, but I like I say, I don't see any difference in doing a longer term lease with the option to, change it if you do expand. I mean, it's just an easy change. So yeah, I don't. I mean, unless you have other plans, that's just.
Was I breaking up?
Still can't see any reason there.
Well, I mean, Sean, for your peace of mind, we haven't entered into any talks or negotiations or even, are you still there? I think he hung up. Let's see if he.
Maybe I wasn't breaking up. Maybe.
Well, he just may be in a bad service spot. I don't think.
Was I breaking up to you guys or could you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
The
Sorry.
first time, Vanessa, you were breaking up, but when you got closer, it was better.
Can you hear us now?
Got you now.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's where I'm at. I'm not sure, but it usually works.
I mean, I wanted to let you know that we haven't, engaged any other parties in any discussions at this point for any leases regarding, where we're currently at, whether we get that or
I
not.
feel like that's what I'm getting put off for. I just so, you know, are you putting it off so that you can do that, or do you guys, you know, I mean, I just need to know, you know, it's not, I mean, if you do need to do that, that's fine. I just would like to know so I can do the same, you know, I mean, I'm making long-term plans. Like I said, I just, you know, renewing, you know, I got $2.5 million. I just renewed on the building, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, I just asking for same courtesy in return. I mean, I'd like to, you know, I'm committed to long-term. Always have been, and we've always done our best there, but now we're getting, you know, just all these different, more and more requests, and margins get slimmer and slimmer, and you know, you want shorter and shorter terms, you know, and we've done that a couple times now. So it's just, you know, it's kind of getting real one-sided. And I really want to make sure we're working together, you know, or not. I mean, if we're, you know, if you know, if not, I just would like to know.
So Sean, my name is Jennifer, and I think for us, having had to deal with the school district in the past, it gets much more complicated. And so when we're looking at expanding, and like Vanessa said, that if we're expanding here in this building, it's not going to, from your perspective, it looks like it's going to be just an easy amendment addition. We can just change it. But from the ASD aspect, it's going to be much more complicated from our point of view, and the things that ASD is going to ask for us. Why do you want more space? Do you have enough students to support it? All of that kind of stuff. And they're going to get more involved. And that's why we want to wait until we get the official approval from the state saying, yes, we're good with your expansion. You can move forth. Right now, we have ASD on board with us. We don't have the state, and we don't know what the state's going to say. So we want to have that official confirmation from them, which we anticipate will come in September when they have their meeting. And then at that point, then we plan to move forward. Like the others have said, we haven't looked anywhere else. This is where we would like to stay. We have the history here, but we feel that it's going to be much more complicated as we look at putting that expansion in place, expanding to our 7th and 8th grade.
Okay, I guess, yeah, we're just going over the same thing. We've done amendments before and changed you know, rates and changed everything, and it's fairly simple to do amendment, but obviously you guys don't want to go there. So. So I'm getting that you'll do a 1-year extension, and you will do an extension after that if you don't, if you do or don't expand. But
Correct. Yes.
But you don't.
So Sean, if we,
Going that you guys will do an extension, but you don't know for sure.
well, we're not planning on moving unless the space is not available to us. And, you know, whether, if we do a 1-year extension now and we find out that we can do that we can expand to 7th and 8th grade, then we can talk about what a long-term expansion or a long-term lease looks like with the expansion. If it turns out that we are not able to do the expansion through the state, then we can talk about a long-term lease that doesn't include more space. So our intention is to work with you and stay in the building. We just don't know what that long-term lease will look like.
Yeah, you know, before you get too into it, I would like to talk to you guys too about how to, you know, I mean, you had met with the architect and different things about how to do it. It's very expensive. And there is probably better options or a lot cheaper options to do it. You know, if you guys want to look at any of that stuff, like putting it in areas that are already built out a little bit and stuff. But, you know, I don't know if you want to just, you know, shelf all that until September, or you know, if you want to even take the pricing into consideration now, or, I mean, I just hate to keep going. I mean, if we put it off, it just, you know, it is a time consuming deal, and it'll just take that much longer again. Make sure everybody understands that too. And, you know, I threw out some rough pricing numbers. I know they're really high, but that's kind of what we're having to deal with. It's just, you know, but there is a lot of other different ways to look at it. I think we really need to get together and talk about a longer term plan, if it's really going to work and how it's going to work, and try to make it work for all of us involved there. And you know, just last couple of years going year by year, it just makes it really tough to do anything. But if you guys don't want to get together till September, I guess we'll just do that.
Maybe I was cutting out when I said this, but I mean, we don't want to until September because the state board, they don't meet monthly, they only meet quarterly. So they're not meeting until the end of August. So we won't have a final answer until then. And we don't want to wait, like you said, it's expensive meeting with architect. We don't want to waste your money and your time, and we don't want to waste our money and our time either in starting something without a firm answer from the state. Because while ASD said yes, and we all want to do that, until they say yes, we can't do it. So that's why we want to wait until September.
Yeah, I we should plan a little more ahead before we even wait for the state. I mean, do we even want to go to the state if we know it's feasible or not feasible? I mean, is it even going to be feasible through the school board with the funding and everything, or the space that, you know, you want, or could you do it in a different space, or, you know?
Well, I mean, we did run budget estimate numbers before we even took it to the school board. So I believe we would be able to afford it, but that's why we don't want to get in a 3-year extension when we know we're going to have to redo numbers that may or may not, you know, in that email that you sent included like a 7% interest rate. Well, we might be able to offset some of that cash out so that you don't, like, we're not paying your 7% interest rate and those kind of details. That's what we would need to start working out in September, and would want, you know, like floor plans and solid plans for you to be able to take to an architect. But we just don't want to waste anyone's time or money until the state does a final approval. And then you might have been cutting out when I was saying this before, but we expect that the Anchorage School District purchasing and risk management is going to have their fingers in this expansion a lot more than they do our normal extensions. So we just want to be prepared. Like, we know that they're going to be involved. So if we do a 3-year, it's just going to end up getting scrapped anyway, which is why we just wanted to do the 1 year, so that when we move into the expansion, it can just be like new-ish. I think that's what they're going to expect. But I think, Deanne, you might be able to better speak to that.
Did that make sense, Sean? I mean, we're really just basically in the
no,
holding
I'm sorry,
pattern.
it doesn't make sense, but you know, I'll go with it if that's all, you know, we can do there. Because, you know, it's easily changeable, it's easily cancelable. If, you know, like you said, you can put in a cancellation in there or anything, but it doesn't look like you want to commit. So we'll have to, you know, I'll go with it.
Sean, we've had a lot of experience with ASD. I mean, just trying to get a security system in our building through ASD took us 2 years. So while it may seem so simple on one part, on this other, you know, looking at the ASD aspect, it's not simple for us. and we can't do anything without them, without their approval. So I see how it cannot make sense on why we're wanting to do it the way we're asking, but it's because we've had this experience with ASD before.
Yeah, I've dealt with them before too, but no, I mean that's they do know what, you know, amendments and leases and cancellation clauses and all that are. I mean, they're pretty sharp on that stuff, and that's pretty common stuff. So, but you know, the way we had talked about it is having, you know, like either do amendment or a cancellation or whatever in the lease, and that's fairly simple. But you know, like I said, if you guys, you know, I'll go with it. I just kind of wanted to get a feel from where you guys are. This is hard over the phone. It's really breaking up bad too. So.
Well, Sean, if you have, if you can send maybe Vanessa some numbers that, you know, when you sat down and talked with me, you had some numbers. If you could send that to Vanessa, as far as what your contractors talked about, that might give the board a better idea of how much more we're going to have to adjust the budget based on what the current market prices are for construction projects. Because when we did the original budget proposal way back in October, you know, costs were a lot less.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we don't know what they'll be in a couple of years. You know, I mean, we'll have to make a decision at some point, but we're getting a couple of years out now. And I think I did send that over. I did send what the estimates were for that space and, you know, rough costs over. But like I say, there's other options, ways we could do it. If you want to look at some other things too, there's, you know, a lot of different ways we could approach it and talk about it.
Okay, if you have those proposals, I'm sure they'd be happy to take a look at that. You know,
Didn't I send that over to you?
No, You sent an email with just kind of a description, but nothing with some numbers and layout plans.
Yeah, I think I sent with like he just said is all, you know, he could do was estimate like $150 a foot for what we're talking. I mean, he didn't have the architectural drawings yet.
Right. So, I mean, we don't know what they're paying.
Like square footage is like about 8,500 square feet.
Well, it's really hard for the board to see what they're going to be paying for.
Okay. Do you want just a bid for? Well, can't get a definite bid, but I can throw out some more estimates, like, you know, from talking to them, like I got there.
Right, for the space and the number of classrooms or rooms that they're going to build out with the, you know, adding the restrooms. And
yeah, that
like
was
that.
what it was. What you were talking to the contractor about there. Yeah, that's what he gave me the estimate on.
Yeah, but I still don't know what that means. I mean, we talked about multiple different layouts. So it could be one layout and then I'm thinking a different one. So if we had
in that space, I mean, that's just a rough estimate, $150 a foot. That's what he estimated for build out of that area. You know, to get it, I mean, whether it's, you know, 3 or 4 classrooms or whatever in that space, the cost is still fairly similar. Unless we went to like a different space, like on the end of the building that are already partially built out. They have, you know, walls and ceilings and lighting and stuff like that already in place. That could make it cost quite a bit cheaper that way.
again,
Well,
those,
that-
I mean, those are just kind of random phantom numbers to us. I mean, um, depending on how many walls you have to put in. I mean, I'm not sure what actually we're gonna be paying for.
Which is also, I mean, that's why we don't want, I mean, we don't want you to have to go pay to have plans drawn up and things like that done until we have a final answer, so that, you know, it's not spending your money or our money and time until we know what we can do. I mean, for this extension, would you prefer like a clause written in that says, if we don't get approved for the expansion, then it's 3 years and it ends at June 2022 if it is approved? Like a 1 year extension if it is approved for the expansion, and then we would work out something new, or a 3 year if it is not approved, and then we would be just staying status quo.
Sorry, there again, I'm only getting about half of what you're saying there, but I mean, the city approval was actually through K through 8th grade already for the expansion. As far as, you know, how we build it out, you know, like say 3, 4, 2 classrooms, storage space, that kind of thing doesn't really make too much difference on the cost. And yes, we have done drawings several different times and done that up, you know, the time, money into that. Yeah, I hate to have them go through it again. In fact, I'm having a hard time getting the architects to draw it up again because they've kind of gone through it several times. They're getting a little, you know, slow on cooperating with me when they know it's just kind of a dry run thing scenario. They're thinking it is anyway. So yeah, you know, I don't want to go too far either without knowing that it's going to work. And that's why I kind of came with tried to get some rough budget numbers together, and, you know, thought we'd talk about those and talk about other options before we go, you know, too far into the drawings or approvals and all that stuff again. And you know, once again, I was really hoping to get together and talk about this easier because I'm getting just partial bad connections here.
Well, Deanne, can you repeat what I said about the extension? Maybe it won't be so choppy coming from you.
Well, I mean, at this point, Sean, are we able to at least come to an agreement that we do want to be in the building? We are looking for opportunities to be there in the long term. But we do have to have a building space at least for at least the 21-22 school year. Can we do an extension for this year and work with you on what the long-term cost and layout would be for us to be here in the next 3 years, at 3 or 5 years or 10 years after that?
Yeah, we'll just have to go with that, I guess. Yes.
So Vanessa, can you, you, Sean, and I maybe email tomorrow and get a lease for the 21-22 school year buttoned up so we can get that to the district before June 30th?
Sure, different than what I already said.
Sean, did you want any different language in the document that she sent you this afternoon?
No, I didn't look at it.
Okay,
Like I said, I wanted to get a meeting first, and I still would like to get one here, whenever we can get together and just try to get a little better idea of how this is going to work.
okay. Well, if you can take a look at that tonight and tomorrow and maybe get back to Vanessa and I. We'll work on at least making sure that come July 1st, we can get you paid for the upcoming school year.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine to start with. I just been asking for I wanted to try to get with you guys on all this stuff, but I'll take a look at it. I am going to be probably out of touch pretty much the next couple of days, but I'll send it back in the morning. I think it was fine. But.
Okay,
And Sean, just so you know, we typically don't meet during the summer, our APB board, officially. So our first meeting will be in do we meet in August? Our first meeting will be in August once we come back to school. So if you would like to come to our August meeting and start talking about these things, we'd love to have you. Or our September meeting, because we have one meeting every month during the school year. Because at that meeting in September, we'll have obviously, hopefully, the approval from the state to move forward. So we'd love to have you at either or both of those meetings, and we can get you the dates once we have them set, if that works for you.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure I'll be around. We'll try to put something together. Or Zoom in or something. A little bit of notice would be better. That's why I've been trying to get a meeting for the last month here. So I was hoping to get something before you guys are out of there, but it didn't work out. All right. Well, hopefully we can keep her rolling here.
okay, thank you for your time, Sean. We appreciate you trying to work with us on this. And we do hear your concern about things needing to happen on your end also.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to figure out how to make it work.
Okay, well, we look forward to hearing back from you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Do we have to make a motion or anything, or we've already done that? Waiting.
Okay, so is he tentatively agreeing with?
Yes, that's what I heard.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I think we should vote on it so that if he agrees to it, it's done. And we don't have to come back again. And if he doesn't agree to it, then it doesn't matter what we voted on, because we'll have to go back to,
Okay, so I make the motion. Can we approve the extension of the lease for the
I
2021-2022 school year?
will second that.
We have to do
Because
anything
it's on a piece of
specific.
paper, so I don't think we need.
Okay, so that we approve the extension of the lease.
Yes.
Was the last one an extension?
Yes,
Like,
so
do we have
the
to
difference,
specify that this one has the,
I guess,
we cover the flooring.
that's in the before that we talked to, before we called him in, but yes, the difference between the last one we voted on is that we would be paying for the paint and the flooring. So he would be paying for anything.
I can't hear what you're saying. I'm sorry.
So the difference between the last extension we voted on and this one is that we would be paying for the lobby flooring and the paint, where before we were asking him to pay for the lobby floor and we would pay for the paint. So this would just be us covering the cost of both.
When's the last time we had flooring put in the building?
Last summer when they did the men's and women's bathrooms, no, 2 summers ago.
I'm talking
No,
about
I'm
the
thinking
hallways,
The
the
lobby
tile.
flooring, I'm thinking has never been redone, but I did find in our, I think it's our 4th lease amendment, that there is a clause in there that we cover the cost of any like wall or floor repair, not repair, but like cosmetic stuff. And it is followed in parentheses by that doesn't always mean that every time it has to be, but the 1% increase actually wouldn't even cover the cost of him redoing the flooring. So if this gets us the 1 year instead of a 3 year, because that's what he originally came back and said, that if he has to pay for this, that he wants a longer one because that would be easier for him. But now, so now he keeps changing his story. He just wants a longer lease, but he keeps giving a different reason every time. And he's not listening when I say ASD is going to be all up in that.
He doesn't know quite yet some of the changes that have been happening
Yeah.
with them in capital improvements and facilities over the last few
Right.
years. So, but that'll be an experience that we get to walk through together.
Yay. But that, yeah, I don't think it's ever been replaced. But the lobby flooring.
No, the lobby flooring, all the tile has never been replaced.
Yeah.
The carpet in the
carpet has,
classroom
yes.
has been replaced once. And then the bathrooms, but
Yes,
nothing
but
else.
Not anything else.
Mm-mm.
Not the
And
tile.
I believe there are
Not
some
the tiles at
the
all.
cracks in the tiles from the earthquake.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So really, we probably should have, because there were write-offs for that on your taxes.
Yeah, should have
We
done.
probably,
what-
yeah, could have done that right after
Well,
the
not, I mean, I'm confused why he keeps saying we keep asking for more things, because we don't ask him for anything that isn't written in our lease for him to fix. Like, you had to fix a leaky roof. I'm sorry, but we didn't make your roof leak. And you had to fix the HVAC. It's written in our lease that you make the HVAC be working. So
Mhm.
we're not asking for outrageous items for him to pay for.
Well, he's just dealing with an aging building that's going to need,
Right.
and that's, the whole,
I would also like to say, I just did some quick math on my paper, and we've probably paid him between $4 and $4.8 million all the years that we've been here. So to say he hasn't recouped his building costs, no way.
No, I feel like his profit's a lot more than single digits.
Yeah, well, maybe not from the other half of the building, but that's not our fault. From our half of the building, it is just fine.
Anyway, okay, 1 year, I'm good to go. Let's do it.
Okay, so we need a roll call vote.
Yes. Oh, I better stay over there. All right. Okay, roll call vote. Mindy,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
I am a yes. Paige,
Yes.
Missy.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Good. Okay.
I have a quick riddle for you while she's coming over. What is the opposite of lady fingers? Mentos.
uh,
You crack yourself up, don't you?
I do. I like those kind of jokes.
Save that one for Josh. That's so like that one. I don't even know what I'm looking at, so I hope.
Okay, okay, so the next item is under new business, and it's insurance. It's not really new, but I think we haven't had it on there for the last couple, but we finally got quotes back from the insurance company. So we have to have our own liability insurances outside of what the school district has for us. And we just did a 1 year the last 2 years because the prices jumped up so much. But we asked them to go out to bid this year, and these are our 2 bids that we got back. So we have to pick one or the other.
Okay.
And Deanne probably has a lot more detail.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just scanned through these bullet points. Coverage does not apply to any claim or loss from war and civil war, just so you guys know.
Wow.
I happened to catch that in an eyeball glance, and I'm like, oh, okay. That's good to know. Oh, option 1, option 2.
Ian, do you want to talk about the,
Yes, please.
and you're muted.
As you can probably see, and my suggestion was to Vanessa to print it out single-sided instead of double-sided so that you could easily compare the two. They are the 2 leading insurance providers for public entities in the state of Alaska. There is a quite noticeable cost difference, but there are some specific reasons for the cost difference. And some of it is just the APEI. One has more line items that kind of indicate specific categories in which they would be covered. And the AML is more general. AML also has lower deductibles, which is kind of odd. You would think that you'd have a higher deductible if you had a higher premium or lower premium, but that's not the case. AML does come with cyber insurance that we wouldn't have to pay for in addition to the APEI. APEI actually marketed out their cyber insurance to another entity, so that's different. And more significant cost in addition to the $18,000, I think. So, over the years, how much have you used your insurance policies other than for the earthquake?
So I would say none that I know of.
So do we have 3 different options here? Or is it just 2?
So you have 2 options. One is the APEI and then one is the AML. The AML cyber insurance is provided with it through Alliant. You can take the APEI standalone without cyber insurance, or you can take the APEI and the cyber insurance that they offer through Founders. And then Founders gives you different options for the amount of coverage that you want. And this is something new. In the previous years, cyber insurance was included in the total cost for the package, but they've broken it out this year specifically because it costs them significantly more with the increased amount of cyber attacks that organizations face. But all of our cyber attacks would sort of be through the district, and the district is aware that they are doing this because I think that they got the same things with their policies this year. Their cyber insurance was broken out into something different. So they are aware of that, and they'll work with us in the next couple of years to work through this, but they are just finding out about it like we are finding out about it this year. So
you said that the cyber security or cyber insurance is the main difference between the 2?
no, not really. I mean, there are some differences And if you look at the general liability breakout, option 1 is APEI and option 2 is the AML. You have a lot more specific coverage detail categories in the APEI. And you have 0 deductibles in the AML for different categories and sections. And
It looks like higher coverage with APEI, like their limit say 15 million. The other one says 2 million, kind of for limit.
right, in the different categories, the general liability overall is still the same limit. Well, one is 15 million, 15.5 million, and one is 15 million. And so you can go back and forth, and there's some things that AML is better at in some categories, and some things that APEI is better at in other categories. But if you're looking at your bottom line and how, what do you think your risk really is for having any of these incidents happen with property and crime?
What is your recommendation? Probably knowing insurance better than us.
I'm more inclined to go with APEI. Their coverage is very more comprehensive. They break out specific things that they're willing to cover. Not that AML wouldn't, it's just not clearly enunciated. So if we ever did have to make a claim, we would probably rely on ASD's legal department to help us justify the category that it would be covered under. That being said, when you're purchasing insurance, you're always kind of gambling anyway. APEI, you'll be saving or spending about $7,000 more a year when all is said and done if you choose to take cyber coverage versus AML. If you choose to do a 3-year, the 3-year lease to get the or agreement to get the discounts.
I'm just seeing about a $4,000 difference. Unless I'm missing something.
The AML includes the cyber insurance, the APEI does not.
So they quoted it on here, but then the lady emailed Deanne back and said that AML actually included cyber insurance in their price.
Right.
So you could cross that off on the page 16 in the option 2 column. You could cross out that cyber cost on the second line from the bottom and then subtract that out of there.
I got it.
6,000.
Right.
Not 7. 60.
Vanessa, I forwarded to you the cyber insurance documents for APEI through Founders. It looks like this. And that's the Founders one. And this is the one that comes with APEI. And then the one that looks like this. This is the one that goes through AML. I can never figure out where the middle of the screen is.
Okay. I have that one.
Alliant is AML.
Alliant is AML and Founders
Okay.
is APEI.
Guys, I'm gonna have to go, but I am going to trust your decision in the insurance. So, okay,
Hi, Missy.
Thanks.
later. Have a
Have
great
fun
night.
with your mom.
Thanks.
So the APEI, the 20,500 does not include the cyber.
The
Yes.
20,500 does include the cyber, right?
No, it does not.
And the cyber is an additional 3,300. Is that, am I reading that correctly?
Yes. So APEI does not include the cyber.
Okay, but on what they sent on page 16, they have property, general,
Right.
That
And
page
and then a total, and
I'm
then they have
there.
a line for cyber, which would line up with the
Yeah.
Houston Casualty Company as the cost, so that 20,000 would, right, include cyber?
it does not. The second email that she sent that included the founder's insurance says that it's not included in the price.
Even though it says total and it gives a total and then they have the cyber and then they have the total estimated annual premium.
Right, so you would take the cyber out of that and you would add whatever policy you wanted through founders. So if you wanted the premium one or or what is it at the top? They have access and Hiscox, and so you could take the 2,750, the 2,951, or the 3,317, depending on what coverage you wanted for that. And that's if you want to just do a 1 year. And then I think at the end they have if you want to do the discount for the three-year coverage, which is where?
Well, isn't that on page 16? Because the total for API is like 19,400, but after for a 3-year, it would be 18,400
Yeah. Mhm.
for the year. And so if we did, I just need to make sure I'm understanding this. So if we did the 3-year at 18,400, then we would add on the 3,300 for the cyber
Yes.
if we went with the Hiscox.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I've been a little bit frustrated with risk because our agent mysteriously stopped responding to my emails 2 weeks ago. And then last Friday, I started getting all of this different information from a new person. So she has been replaced. So what I can do is I can ask her to resend the quote, but that'll mean that you guys will have to have another meeting.
So can I ask about the 3-year contract?
Yeah.
Is that gonna change if we have our expansion go through?
Yes. I think that more than likely it will.
Did they give you a price? Oh, so if we wanted to not do a 3-year, we could do a 1 year at the 19
Mhm.
or the 15 and not get a little bit of a discount.
Right, and what the 3 years does is it locks you into that rate for each of the 3 years. Remember, the schools,
Going up
Right.
every year.
I mean, last year we paid $18,000, so a $19,000, or actually, $19,000 plus paying for cyber insurance is going to be a larger increase. So insurance is only going to continue to go up. Right? Last year's it went up specifically because of the amount of sexual abuse cases that happened across the country, and this year it's going up because of the number of cyber attacks organizations are experiencing.
So if we do the 3-year contract, but our expansion goes through, then essentially we're just starting new, but we get this year at the discounted rate.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have to pay for it all up front. It would be like a yearly.
Right, we get billed for it every year. Once
So
you,
if we did lock into a 3-year, if all that changed was like how many people were in the school or how much square footage it was protecting, would it just adjust? I mean, if we were locked into the old rate, would it be a whole new thing, or would they just like increase it based on? Yeah,
well, and that's something that's up in the air too. We totally are kind of at the whim of just our circumstance issue, because we are going to be, if we do assume more space, I don't know if that just is grandfathered in. I mean, I would assume that the company wouldn't look at that. I think the number of employees that we cover wouldn't make that big of a difference because that fluctuates from year to year. Like they wouldn't give us a discount if we had less employees. So, it's
So-
just kind of one of those things. What do you want to do?
So if we wanted to say we wanted to approve the 3-year contract with APEI and then the most expensive of the cyber, Hiscox, the 3317, and then we approved that, and then you wanted to get a different quote, and it was within that or less,
Yeah,
then you
then
could
it
just
would
go
be
with
fine.
it, and then we wouldn't have to meet again.
But you wouldn't have to meet again if you were comfortable with a number range.
Yeah, so I'm not sure why you were saying that you would ask for a new quote if it's just because it's a different broker or person working with you, and if they give you a better deal, is that why you would ask for a new quote?
No, the reason I meant was saying that I could ask them for a new report is that they could rewrite all the numbers correctly and show us specifically what we were going to be paying for as far as the cyber
So like this,
insurance and the numbers.
but we could do, if we said, we want to go with this insurance company up to X dollars with this cyber option, then we're good. Yes.
If you like the package that APEI sent us over more than you like the AML, then you could give me the go ahead to do that. If you look at the cost page, I think it's page 13 for the cyber coverage on the founders. Even though the Hiscox is more expensive, the coverage is basically about the same. And again, it's a gamble. I don't ever anticipate us actually having to use insurance for anything other than, maybe another earthquake. But then you never know what could happen.
And I did see something in here, was it that saying that they're outsourcing to cover that, so if that company goes under, then grab that money and they would not have to cover anything.
Yeah,
So depending on what the history of that company is, they've been around for a really long time, or if they're just a new pop-up company.
Which one?
and that is why you have the rating.
I'm so confused about that.
So, I mean, I could ask my husband where they get their cyber insurance and how much they pay for that, or what, if he knows any of these companies and what their reputation is. I just don't work in that business. We've never had to market for anything like this before, because it's always been included in Risk marketed all of that for us. Now Risk is just this, passing that on to us as far as what our risk tolerance is.
They are, but I have worked with Risk at work for insurance before, and they don't generally recommend, like if they thought it was a shoddy company, they wouldn't even give you the quote for it, I don't think. Especially being a school and a business, they wouldn't, if they thought it was gonna go under or wasn't good, they wouldn't give you a quote from them for it.
So we do have some charter schools that are using AML, but they are the homeschool programs that don't have a brick and mortar building that they're insuring. They're still insuring staff and all of those sorts of things, but they also kind of aren't necessarily insuring staff working with children every day and the types of incidents that could particularly happen during a school day.
That we always want to believe online. But the esecurityplanet.com says that the top 10 cyber insurance companies in 2021 are listed here. And the only one of these three that is on this list is Axis. So let's put the report and see what it says.
What is under on the marketing summary on page 17? It says lines of coverage. Non-admitted cyber is for the first two, and then admitted cyber is for the third one, the HISCOPs. You know what that difference means?
Where are you looking?
Page 17, the marketing summary, where it lists the different cyber insurance.
My pages are all messed up.
Thank you.
Okay, an admitted insurance carrier is approved by the state's insurance department, where a non-admitted insurance carrier has not been approved and therefore does not have state backing.
So Hiscox has state backing and the other two do not. That's the difference.
Well, that makes it even harder.
The state is backing the insurance.
You have one in the top 10 and then one that's backed by the state.
Why can't it be
Nothing.
both?
Right?
Jeez.
Is it just saying the state gives
So it
their
says
backup
the state
something?
is backing the insurance carrier, meaning that if the carrier suffers a financial failure, the state guarantees that it will cover claims on admitted insurance products on behalf of the insurance carrier as needed up to the state's specified limit. To become an admitted carrier, the insurance company must file an application and become licensed with the state insurance commissioner in each state. And they must follow all regulatory requirements for insurance in that state.
Yeah,
And have to pay a portion of their revenue to the state's insurance guarantee association.
that's why Hiscox is a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
It's only like $320 more. No, like $375 more.
They even have money to help.
I know.
Anyway,
I don't know, Axis, if it's one of the top companies.
on
Hiscox's website, who we cover, side hustle. What?
What?
We cover small business owners, LLC, sole proprietors, entrepreneurs, side hustle. I don't know what that means, but it just, I mean, I know what it means in like other worlds, but like, it's just funny that it's like on the list. I'm trying to find their S&P rating and I can't find it, so.
Well, what's your risk tolerance?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, you broke up.
What is your tolerance for risk?
What is our?
I say take the gamble
I
and
mean, I
save the
don't,
money.
yeah, considering we haven't used anything, I mean, it's like my car.
Full coverage to like.
My car broke down
I know.
Every time.
right? We'll save the money and something bad will happen.
That's Judy. I pay a little bit more, so I know that when this happens, I'm covered. I'm like, oh.
But if Access is in the top 10
Yeah,
for the state, for the nation,
yeah.
the chance of them going under is not, I mean, that's.
Right, that's what
the
I'm
only-
thinking.
Okay, so maybe we go with Access.
Anybody want to make a motion?
We're going with API and Access. Is that what?
So we would say a who, and then like an up $2 amount, and Deanne's gonna go back to the insurance company and get them to like make the numbers clarified, since they came back in the one and said, oh, actually, that's not in there, but it is in there, and then put whatever cyber company we pick, so we get a final number. So we'll do like an up to, so that we don't have to meet again.
So if I make a motion to go with APEI for the 3 years up to $18,418.32.
I think that per year. that 18.
Yeah, for the 3 years.
I would do up to.
Want me to go 19, 20?
Yeah. And then, well,
Just do an even 19,000 with Access Insurance as our cyber coverage up to 3,000.
okay, so the motion on the table is to renew our insurance with APEI for the 3 years for up to 19,000, and then add on Access as the cyber insurance for up to 3,000 within.
I will.
And then we'll do a roll call vote for that. So Mindy,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Paige,
Yes.
okay. The motion passes unanimously. That was our last item. So if anyone would like to make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn
Can I get a
at
second?
I'll second.
Okay,
6:20.
adjourned at 6:20.
Okay.
My job, Paige.
Sorry.
We're still.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.